The last question that was asked is amazing. This is actually how to get rich and very wealthy, so you have to listen up. Hello everyone, welcome to Just Invest Today, and in today's video we're talking about this new Mohnish Pabrai interview with University of Georgia. Man, this interview was amazing. In this video we're going to talk about how to value a business, man, and Mohnish Pabrai breaks it down nicely and easily for us to understand. So he talks about a lot in this interview about a lot of different subjects, man. So go watch the interview after this video. But in today's video, we have to just remember how to evaluate a business and the importance of it and how simple it actually is. And that's what we want to do in investing. Keep this process very simple. So let's break it down. But before we do, guys, can you please like this video, subscribe to my channel, man. It'll help me out a lot. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so help me out and get me there. Thank you so much. So this university student is basically asking Mohnish Pabrai a bunch of questions, and the questions that I'm going to break down are all about how to value a business, man, because we want to evaluate these businesses like Facebook, Google. We want to buy strong businesses, man. So let's get into the first question. So the first question that was asked was, how has being a founder of Transec helped you identify compounders? So you got to remember, Mohnish Pabrai, before he got into investing, had his own company, and then he sold out of it. He got a lot of money, so then he was able to invest all that money. So he was actually an owner of a business. So that's what the question was about, and he basically broke it down very nicely. He said basically running a business and actually having to understand the process, like payroll, like employees, like employee turnover, like customer service, bad customer service, all of that good stuff teaches you about the world and understanding how a business is run. And that's critical to investment because we are just dealing with businesses. People forget that just reading about a business is not enough to make good investments. So it teaches you a lot about how to CEO things, and it pushes you in that CEO role so you can actually understand the business. Because the number one thing, he said, it's dangerous just to look at spreadsheets and just to look at numbers and think you understand and know the business by just looking at that. It's dangerous. It will kill you in investing. You actually have to kick down the tires and actually do the groundwork and understand where is this company going, what this company is, to actually evaluate a company, a business. So that's super key. Also, you actually have to think about the 3 to 4 variables that actually drive the main outcome of the business. And that's key. Like when you think about something like Facebook, I'm going to give you a good example of Facebook. Like, what are the key drivers of Facebook? Probably just the annual customers that are actually downloading the app. Like, how long are the customers using it if they're still staying on the platform? How often are they buying and what products are they buying and how much ad revenue are they generating per user? 3 variables will drive majority of the business, and that's what you got to look for when you're thinking in that CEO mind. Once you get over that first hurdle of actually valuing a business, thinking about it as like you're the CEO, not just some random spreadsheets and just looking at the spreadsheets and just imagining the business like that, and actually thinking about the variables that will drive the value of the company, then we go on to the next question, right? So the next question is basically talking about, how do you determine what price you will pay for a business, and how do you calculate intrinsic value? So this is a really interesting question, and he breaks this down so nicely. So think about this. If the company is in your circle of competence, you already know the value of that business inherently. So thinking about a business like Facebook, I'm going to break down Facebook for you. So before we get into the value of a business, we got to understand we gotta understand the basics of the business. Is it understandable? Does it have a competitive advantage? Is the management strong? Once you get all of that stuff down and you know this is a strong company, it has a competitive advantage, then we can go on to the valuation of the business. And we gotta keep this super, super simple. Give you an example of Facebook. We all know that Facebook is a strong company. Look what it's been doing. Income statement, the revenue, 54%, 47%, 37%, 26%, 21%. and it has 80% gross margins, and plus the net income is growing at like 23-25%, right? So we know Facebook is a strong company. Look at the PE ratio of Facebook at 23 times earnings. So just looking at that, do you believe Facebook is going to grow 23% into the future 5-10 years down the road? If you believe Facebook is going to grow 23 times down the road, like the growth rate of the company, then it's a perfect buy right now. It's a solid company, has a competitive advantage. It's going to grow into the future at 23, 20 plus percent a year. So it's a good buy. If it's at like 10, 15, it's an even better buy. It's an aha moment. It's one of those hit it out the parks because it's selling so cheap and growing at like 20, 30%. But if say Facebook is selling at a 40, 50 PE, then maybe we're like, we're not sure. It may be too expensive. So, and then you can just pass it. So that's how he thinks about just valuing businesses. It's super simple once you pass that step of buying a company in your circle of competence and actually understanding the value of that company and understanding that it has a durable moat 5-10 years down the line. The last question that was asked is amazing. This is actually how to get rich and very wealthy, so you have to listen up. So this last question was asked by one of the university students. How do you know if a business can employ capital at a high rates of return over a long period of time? And listen to what Mohnish said. Why should it be easy to get rich? The ability to answer that question has the possibility to make you insanely wealthy if you know how to answer that properly, and it's not easy to answer that properly. So this is very key. If the business that you own can reinvest that money and generate high returns on capital for 5-10 years down the line, that will make you wealthy. You can just literally sit back and enjoy the ride. But how do we know a business can actually do that? He gives an example of Geico having a crazy competitive advantage 5, 10, 15 years ago. Progressive was able to kill the business over time because they were basically able to analyze the risk of customers better, offering a cheaper price, and killing the moat of Geico and got better. So knowing if that business down the line is going to be 5-10 years better, who knows? Like Visa or MasterCard, you can't answer that question right now because there's so much competition, like Square, Affirm, like all these companies coming up. So who says that Visa 5-10 years down the line is able to like return all that capital back into the business and generate high returns? Look at Facebook right now. Return on equity, look at this, 90%, 23%, 27%, 20%, 25%. And if you look on return on invested capital, it's around the same price. It's like 30%, 20%, and that's very high. But who says that's going to be able to continue 5-10 years down the line? What if TikTok gets even better? What if a new startup gets even better? Who knows? So being able to predict that is the $1 million question that you have to understand. And that's how you actually generate crazy amount of wealth. If you pay a good price, you're able just to sit back and watch that capital grow. So that's the $1 million question you got to ask yourself when you're investing in these companies. Return on invested capital, and if it can keep generating high returns by generating all this money, reinvesting it back into the business, acquiring companies, making new companies, and just maybe getting more stores, etc., doing all that good stuff to generate more revenue, more net income, and all of that stuff. So Mohnish Pabrai breaks down how to value companies, the intrinsic value, and just how easy it is to do it. So guys, can you please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll get back to you in the next video. Peace!